Hello, welcome to
The Real Bit Wars.
I'm Chris, and I have a big announcement today, and I also want to share with you some homebrew pickups that I've had. So we'll start with the announcement. In April, the 5th through the 7th, I will be attending the Midwest Gaming Classic. This has been a tradition for me for quite some time. I go there every year, and I want to let you all know, so if anyone else is attending, you can reach out. Maybe we can meet up and talk a little bit. If you need to get a hold of me that weekend, I'll leave a link to my Facebook page for the Real Bit Wars. Go on there, send me a message, and hopefully we can meet up and talk. Yeah, I love to see other YouTubers there and stop and chat with them. Love to see what games everybody's picking up and that sort of thing. So before I get started with these pickups, I also want to do a quick shout out. And it's MGC related because I ran into this guy last year at the Midwest Gaming Classic. We only had a brief moment to talk, but I would like to give a shout out to MegaMatt21. So please head over to Matt's channel and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Yeah, hopefully Matt and I will get a chance to stop and talk again this year. Very briefly, we spoke last year, but he's very down to earth and generous. It comes through in his videos, and even that brief conversation we had last year, I could tell that the guy he is in his videos is the real, genuine person that he is. So please go check out Matt's channel, and without further ado, so some of these pickups here you've already seen on the channel. But I want to just kind of recap. The Midwest Gaming Classic started doing exclusive like home brews and reproductions for the show. So I believe right here was the first of which they started doing the VIP badges as Nintendo games. I've never actually gotten a VIP pass. I should state too, I only attend the show on Saturday and Sunday, but I am in Milwaukee the Friday before. So for whatever that's worth. But they had some of these, they made too many copies of these VIP games the first year in 2019, so they had some left over, and I bought one. But it's called Bovinium Quest. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Donkey Kong games. It's very brutal in the difficulty. You can't jump, which is a bit of an Achilles heel to it. That definitely ramps up the difficulty. But yeah, you can see there it says Midwest Gaming Classic. It also has the logo on the back. So when I first picked that up, I got it in a bundle in 2020 with the next year's game badge. They had several of those left over because that was the year that the show was canceled. But this one is called Exit Loop. So this one you play blind. The layout of the levels is deceiving. The platforms are in a different location than the ones you actually see on the screen. So you have to sort of feel your way through the levels. So after I got those two exclusive games, last year at the show, they had several games for sale there, which were exclusive to the Midwest Gaming Classic. So I pre-ordered a couple of them, and then I just picked them up at the show. Many of these were brought to you by MegaCat Studios. Again, I'll leave a link to that website. But the first one I got here was Ranyu's Tale. You can see there the MGC logo. What sold me on this is it was compared to the Adventures of Lolo games, which I'm a huge fan of that franchise. But yeah, as you walk through the level, the platforms disappear beneath you. So you can only walk over each area once. You have to map out your route very carefully. Again, not an easy game, but pretty cool stuff. All right, then next up, one that I pre-ordered last year, Moto X. This is a Super Nintendo game. Very large MGC logo on the front of this one. This is very much akin to Excitebike. And what's really cool about this one is this game was developed for the Super Nintendo back in the day, but it was canceled prior to its release. So a prototype was discovered, the ROM was dumped, and somebody actually went through and patched this up a little bit because it wasn't really playable. It was sort of a broken game. But fun stuff, definitely. I wouldn't say it's as good as the original Excitebike or the BS Excitebike that was on the Super Nintendo, but still fun. I enjoyed this one. I would like to see more of that, too, in the future from the Midwest Gaming Classic when they do these exclusive titles. Games that were developed but never released, that's kind of my thing. That's more so than anything with reproductions. That's what I go after. And they actually have one coming out for the Genesis this year, which I intend to pre-order. It is Beast Ball. So that was a port of the Brutal Sports Football or Brutal Football or whatever you would call it. It saw release back in the day on the Jaguar and Amiga CD32. It was intended for the Genesis, but it was shelved. So that's the game this year that I want to pick up. Again, I'll leave a link to the Midwest Gaming Classic site as well. You can kind of check this stuff out. So if you plan on attending the show, you can also pre-order these games. This next one is not an MGC title, but I did pick it up at the Midwest Gaming Classic, and there's a reason why I want to share it. This is Space Raft. I picked it up at the show, I want to say that was 2 years ago. But the guy that developed this, Jordan, I had a chance to stop and chat with him when I bought it. Oh, it also came with the soundtrack on cassette tape. So this actually has one of Space Raft as a band. I actually know one of the members of it. We went to high school together. But this is one of their albums, and then on the B side of it is actually the chiptune renditions of their songs, which were used in this game. So yeah, Jordan developed this. It's kind of like a Zelda clone, sort of. I use that term pretty loosely because it's not that close to that. But I actually played through and beat this one last year. Not a difficult game, but it's pretty fun. And one reason why I bring that up is here are the new ones that I ordered in the mail this year. So this one would have been the game badge for the VIP pass last year. Chaos Between Realms. So again, very nice large MGC logo. I like to see that when I get these. For some reason they had some of these left over, but you can see Raft Labs is the name of the developer that basically made the Space Raft. And from what I understand, they had a panel of game devs at the MGC last year, and I think those guys actually collaborated to make this. So sadly, I don't have much to say about this. The first stage is like a shooter stage. When I defeat the first level boss, the game keeps crashing on me. And I contacted Dan Lawson, the guy who runs the Midwest Gaming Classic, and he got back to me, but I haven't heard from him in a while. I think I might have to reestablish contact, and now with the show going on, I'm sure he's pretty busy, but he wants to get this taken care of for me. Whether it's some sort of issue on my end that I can take care of, or if the game is defective, he wants, I can tell that he's trying to put the effort into fixing this problem for me. This one was not cheap. Most of these other ones I got like at discount prices and stuff that you'll see moving forward here. This one I paid full price for. It was expensive, so I really want to get this sucker working so I can actually play it beyond that first level. I will say, too, a lot of these came with extras. So we have like the coins, keychains, stickers, all sorts of various little extras that they threw in. Each and every one of these games, I believe, came with 2 things. So yeah, now these next 4, they had a bundle. It was like leftover ones from 2023. They were selling them at a very discounted rate. I think it was like 1/3 of the original price when you got this bundle. It was like the more you got, the cheaper the price was. So some of them that I passed on last year, I ended up getting because they were so cheap here. But we have Guntner. This is like a space shooter, sort of unique in that it scrolls from right to left rather than the other way around. And then a lot of the power-ups and things actually Pac-Man through the screen. They go out one side, come back in the other. This is one that'll give your thumb a workout, for sure. But it's a neat little shooter. And then this one here, part of that bundle, I ended up with a duplicate copy of Ranyu's Tale. So, if anybody is interested in doing some sort of trade for this one, if you want to meet up and do that trade at the MGC, let me know and I'll bring this along with me. So just an extra copy of that one. And then these last 2. These games are incredible. Again, these are from Mega Cat Studios. I believe they were both released outside of the Midwest Gaming Classic. These are just like the MGC editions of them, but I'm loving them both. I have played through and beat both of these multiple times already because I just can't get enough of them. But we have Yazi. This is like a Lode Runner clone. Had I known that, I would have pre-ordered this last year rather than waiting until now. Yeah, I'm loving it. So you walk over the platforms, you can use a device to make them disappear, and you fall through the platforms to the lower levels. You have to collect all of the gold in order to proceed to the next stage. So yeah, it's a lot like Lode Runner, which is not a bad thing in my book. I really love the Lode Runner games. And then the final one, Bloof. This one reminds me a little bit of the SOS game on the Super Nintendo, or Sink or Swim. It's not exactly like it, but the layout of the levels reminds me of it a bit. And I think that was ported to the Mega Drive as Man Overboard. It's the SS Lucifer game. This is probably my favorite one of the bunch. Very fun stuff. And again, just like Yazi, I've played through and beat this several times already. I'm hoping maybe they'll make some sequels to these, whoever developed them. I would love to see more levels just like this, because this stuff is a blast. So yeah, that's all of those pickups. Keep an eye out for me at the Midwest Gaming Classic. I hope to see you all there. Thank you for watching.